Hello, this Photoshop tutorial is how to insert several pictures into one Photoshop document to maybe make a collection of 2 or 3 or 4 images that can possibly tell a story. I have no document open. First thing I want to do is find my pictures. Good idea is choose them already before you put them in. In this case, I chose 3 vertical images from a trip that I took to China. The verticals will fit nicely next to each other. If you're trying to mix and match verticals and horizontals, you might run into some difficulties depending on the layout that you're choosing. What you want to do now is go to the Photoshop program and create a document for these images to go into. I'll go to File, New, and by this particular one is showing me US paper, and the resolution is 300 pixels per inch. I like this as a preset just because it has a lot of pixels per inch. That might not mean anything to you, but it helps a lot when you're putting in images so that the image will be close to the pixel resolution of the document that you've created. So I will say OK to that, and I have a vertical document. If you wanted it horizontal, and I do actually, it's easy to fix that. You can go up to the image menu, you can choose image rotation, and in this case, because the image is completely blank, I can choose either of these 90-degree rotations and I'll have flipped it over. Now, I have a document ready. It's a white background that can always be changed. I have no trouble with that. I'll go to my first picture. It's right here. I select it from the Bridge program in this instance. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to drag it in and drop it. It's a little bit big, as you can see. Goes in, it also has an X. What that means is it's been placed, and X is allowing you to transform it. You can change the size. You can also change the location. That's what the X is for, letting you know that you can do that. So I'm going to move it to the left side. I like the idea of having a white margin on the top and the bottom. And when I'm done, I can do several things. I can press return or enter. I can press the check mark that's up here, or I can double click inside the picture. And that's what I've done here. So that one's set. It's been placed in there. Now I'm going to go back for my second picture of a bicycle. I'm going to grab that and drag it in and drop it. And it goes in, and it's too big, of course. Remember, when it has the X, it allows you to move the image. Especially when you're inside, when your cursor's inside the image, it looks like an arrow. And that allows you to grab it and move it. I think it's easiest to line things up by moving it and making either the top border match or the bottom border match. It kind of doesn't matter. So in this case, I'll have the bottom border match, and I will go up here and get the corner. Notice that it'll show you parts of the image that are off the canvas, off the page. So I have to hold down the Shift key while I resize this. If I don't, then I can distort the way the image looks. So I'm going to start over again. I'll drop it in there. Here it is. It's too large. And now I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and what it will do is maintain its proportions. If you have it somewhere and you don't want it to move, like that's the center position, if you hold down Shift and Alt, then it will resize it and not change the center of the location. So in this case, I'm going to go up and hit the check mark. That will end the transformation. Now notice I've run out of space. That's not a problem. What I need to do is add some. And to do that, you use your crop tool, which you get by pressing the letter C. And you go to the end where you want to add the material, add the canvas. So I go to the edge and I will click and I will begin to pull out as much as I think I need to fit the next picture. Now, if something's going to go wrong, I'll show you what. There, see, it shows brown. The reason it's showing brown is that when you add on canvas like this, it's going to give you the color that here is in the background of the color picker. In this case, it's this brown. So I'm going to say, go back like it was. See if I can get the colors chosen. No, I can't. If I double click here, I will pick white in the corner. If I double click here, I'll pick white in the corner. Now I can add the extra canvas on and it should adopt the white. It will adopt whatever is the background color. So now I'm going to press return or enter, and that new canvas has been added. I'm going to go back and find my last picture. I will drop it in. Again, it goes in as too large. I will move this so that the two top edges line, or it lines up with the others. But notice here that I can't get to the edge to resize it. So I will press my command and minus sign, and that way I can zoom out in order to accomplish this transformation. Now, it may or may not be lined up perfectly. If you need to, you can draw a guide that will do that. This is just a quick demonstration. So now I have approved all three of these pictures, and they are more or less the same size within a very, very small margin of error. And what you can do is rearrange them if you want. So if you want to have this picture of the woman in the tea store on the left-hand side, you have to make sure you're on that layer. You will choose the move tool, which is the letter V, and that allows you to move the one picture on the layer where you are. So I will move it over here, and I will cover it up. Then what you need to do is go back to the picture with the three lanterns. I'm going to go to my layers over here. I will select that layer. Notice the layer is selected because it's turned blue. Whatever layer you click on is going to be blue. And the move tool will only move what is on the current layer. So that picture with the lanterns is hidden under here, and it will reappear when I use my move tool and bring it back out. So now I have rearranged the three pictures. Just remember, the key is to know which layer you're on, otherwise you'll be moving the wrong thing. Now, you may decide that you want to have a background that's got more color than this white. So what you do is you go down to the background layer. What I like to do is create a new layer just above it. Here it is, it's a new blank layer. And I'm going to rename that by clicking in there. I'm going to call that background color. And that way I know what I've done on that particular layer. So I will now double click on my color picker, and I will choose some color from the, in this case, I'm going to choose a color from the composition, perhaps sampling off this wall, and now I'll say OK. So it's chosen kind of a gray blue, I think it was, and I get my paint bucket, and I will go right here and pour in the color. So now I have a color background that is complementing the images. Now, this background can easily be changed. I can turn it off. I can make a new one and pour some other different color in there. In this case, let's do some kind of brown, and I will now pour that in. And whatever you pour in, as long as it's on top, it will hide whatever was under there. So those are some ways of creating a multiple picture layout and changing the background. If you want, you can add some text to your composition by pressing T. Letter T will get you your text tool. And in this case, I have to draw out a text box, and I will type into it. Right up here at the top bar are all the ways you can change the text tool. In this case, it's typing with white. It's typing at 300 point type, and it's also typing in this particular font, Adobe Garamond. So I'm just going to type in the word China in white, and I'm going to see what I get. C-H-I-N-A, and nothing appears. I typed every letter. What has happened is one of two things. When you type in and you know you've typed in and you don't see anything, either your type is so tiny, the font is so small, maybe 5 points or 6 points, it's not showing up, or your type is so large that it won't fit in the text box, and in that case, the program just won't show you anything. So what I will do, I will say yes to this typing. I still see nothing, but now I'm going to reduce the size of the font. I'm up here with my font size, and I'm going to choose 60 points, and the word appears. So it was set at 300. That was too large. Now look at it. It's not positioned correctly. So if you're on the layer where the type is, you can then press V to get your move tool. It's the top right tool. And with the move tool, you can put your typing headline wherever you think fits best. Right justified, left justified, or centered. It's up to you and your layout preference what it is that you want to do. So there's a quick way to get several pictures that are related into one composition, color the background, and add some text.